Hi everybody, I hope you guys are doing great today. These are going to be general messages for everyone, but I'm going to be first starting with astrology and then I'm going to be going right into your sign. Guys, the timestamp is below. If you don't want to listen to the astrology, no worries. I have the timestamp below and you could just jump right into the tarot. For those of you who want to hear what's going on in the sky, okay, let's get right into it. So this time period is going to be covering from the 10th to the 23rd. And I'm doing that because I have a very, very busy schedule, so I'm not going to be able to, do a separate reading for next week. But let's go right into the big stuff that's happening. Now, I know it's going to start on the 10th, and I ended the last reading on the 9th, but I really want to just mention again that this weekend, the full moon is happening in Leo on the 9th, and we're going to be feeling like an urgent, sudden, or overwhelming desire to express ourselves. We're going to be made aware of our needs, like our need to create, to express, and just very much get in touch with what we need in our romantic lives at this point. Something is exposed or illuminated, really pushing us to get in touch with those things in our personal lives that we may have been like neglecting or putting off up until now. So this is particularly spontaneous time. So this weekend, especially Sunday. So like some epiphanies, some come to Jesus moments. That's a forward-looking time, right? As this gets together with Mars and all the major bodies are direct. So there's a lot of energy that's very focused this weekend. So just make sure that we all communicate in a very loving way. This is a really nice energy. It's good. But remember, it's Leo. So you want to make sure that, and there's nothing wrong with Leo. I love my Leos. But when there's so much energy in this concentrated space, you want to make sure that what you're meaning to communicate in the name of constructive criticism doesn't come off as hurtful, when that's not at all what you intended to. And if you feel like you're getting that from somebody, just kind of like stop and drop for a second and say, okay, wait, did you mean to say that? Right? Because let's not forget what we have, with Mercury, Pisces, all this very foggy kind of energy going on, right? So you just want to make sure to double check. But this is a really, really beautiful energy, guys. Seriously beautiful. Really good. Okay, and the Mercury is going to be turning retrograde on the 16th. And that's going to be stagnant because it really doesn't go backwards. I think a lot of us know that, but it's for those, we're all at a different space in our journey here. So it's more like it kind of hangs out stagnant while we all move, right? So it's going to be stagnant until March 9th. So with Mercury retrograde in Pisces and then later Aquarius, this is a strong period for getting in touch with our ideals and what we believe to be the truest versions of ourselves. So we may be more able to tap into our inner muse, right, that I mentioned last time, and really come up with especially inventive ideas to push us forward in the best possible way. The thing is here, while Mercury is retrograde in Pisces from the 16th until March 4th, we can feel especially foggy, right, that I was just talking about, or unclear when it comes to facts and figures. So if you're doing anything that requires like calculations, negotiations, I know a lot of us are getting our taxes ready right now. Anything of that nature, if you're dealing with any sort of contract, any sort of deal, negotiation, go over it really carefully. It's not that you can't do it, just go over it really carefully, because then you may end up finding out later that it wasn't at all what you actually thought it was initially. That you thought the agreement or the deal or whatever it was looked a lot different. All right, so just go over it super carefully. Now, retrograde Mercury aligns with the Sun on the 25th, right? And I know it's a little past this point, but I just want to mention it, bringing and emphasizing light to our thoughts, because we're going to be feeling it a little bit before the 23rd. It's a great time for processing events and ideas, things that just have gone on, things that you have cooking in your mind, and for beginning to look at problems or issues from a new perspective and with a fresher and new understanding. Okay, now going back to the 20th, we have Jupiter forming in a sextile to Neptune. So we're able to check in with our needs for imagination and dreams or spirituality even, helping us moderate some of the more extreme expressions of Jupiter and Capricorn transit, right? Because remember, Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, right? As you have Jupiter wants to just be like, let's go, and then we have Saturn in there Like, all right, we got to put in the hard work, So we're able to incorporate and manage our expectations and our faith and our dreams in this energy. It helps us to maintain a sense of balance and grounding, right? Like Saturn's going to help us stay grounded while we want to like float away with Jupiter. And we're going to be considering our morals, our spiritual values, and what we really want for ourselves as we push forward on our path. So it's a time for connecting with idealistic and just things that we believe are for our highest good and for the good of the other people who we care about in our life. We're going to be making connections with people who are different from us, learning from their perspectives, and really widening our experiences and broadening our minds at this point. So this could just be, meeting a couple of new friends, going someplace different, but you're going to find this idea of other that's going to be very active at that time. And then we have the new moon on the 23rd, energizing the sign of Pisces. This brings a fresh start to everything. It really does, guys. We're being shaken awake to the need for a new vision in our life, especially in the area of our spirituality, right? And like, what does that even mean, right? It's we're going to be feeling in the deepest way what's best for us, what our deepest desires are. Where have we been lying to ourselves? Because it's time to revitalize ourselves through experiences that require us to do things differently, through imagination, through compassion, in a different way than we've been doing things. And many of us are going to just be very cognizant in this, right? Really cognizant in putting certain things behind us in order to begin anew, whether it's that relationship, whether it's that job, whether it's making that final decision and just being okay with that, right? So this is really, really good. This new moon is particularly interesting to me since it does speak with Mars and Uranus. So it's like a really cool conversation going on here between these guys. And it's suggesting it's very forward focused and encouraging change, but is moving toward retrograde Mercury, which does suggest a look back. So that Mars is aligning with the South Node also indicates that we're seeing where, what, or who we've been over attached to, in this rear view mirror. And most of us will feel especially focused and determined to work through past issues so that we can move forward in the healthiest and the lightest way. So yeah, those are the big things that are going on in the sky, guys, through the 23rd. Now let's go pull the cards for your sign. Hi Gemini, I hope you guys are doing great today. We're going to get right into your messages. These are general messages for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for February 10th to the 23rd, 2020. You guys remember, these are general messages. Take what resonates, throw out the rest. If it's not your message, it's not your message, okay? Can't possibly get everybody on this platform. Be great if we could, but we can't. And also the energies could always be flip-flop. Could always be vice versa. All right, so let's see what we have. We're going to pull a Healing Yourself Oracle as a crowning, and then we'll get the gift and we'll get the challenge with qualifiers. I'm going to do a separate love at the end, which I forgot to put in the astrology section that I would actually do a timestamp for that, but I'm sure you guys figured it out by now. Okay, let's get right into some messages. Healing myself. What does Gemini really need to look at right now, Spirit? What does Gemini really need to look at front and center right now, please? Selling out. Okay. Selling out. Selling out. So your integrity and inner strength are being very tested right now, Gemini. You have the opportunity to act in either or through either like fear or love. Where in your life are you selling out or acting out of integrity? Are you doing, I don't know, are you in a job that you hate? Are you living in a toxic environment and making yourself sick in the pursuit of financial security? Or, this card asks you to really find the courage and the strength to stand up for your convictions and take steps towards doing something that you really, really love. Really love. And you want to get in touch with, where are your fears surrounding this, and are you doing something in your life out of the name of survival or power or responsibility and success, It's really a matter of identifying that. Now, the lighter side of this energy does lead, once you identify that, it does lead to this feeling of inner freedom and the self-expression and choice and love, you know? When we feel like we don't have to do something that we really don't resonate with, that's very toxic for us. And a lot of times we're stuck in these cycles where we have to do it anyway, at least for now. But even if it's just in the recognition of it and where you need to actually figure it out. You know, you have to make a choice about whether you're going to use your power, your talents, and your abilities for selfishness and exploitation, or for the higher good, you know, even of yourself, when I say selfishness and exploitation. So, you know, really, I mean, I recommend take a few deep breaths and focus on your body and just become conscious of where in your body you feel like you're losing your energy and your power. And just place your hands on that part of your body and visualize this lower vibration of yourself that might be allowing this to happen in your life. And just really ask that other part of you to help you to regain that inner strength and to really help you make more empowering decisions for yourself, you know? Yeah. All right. I think that's healthy, right? It's healthy. It's a good way of living, actually, you know? Always checking in with ourselves on a very regular basis. To ask, it's not about are we happy, we not happy, but do we feel like we're being valued, you know? Because when you don't feel like you're being valued, your involvement in that is a bit of a sellout vibe, you know? Even within relationships, even a relationship that's simply not giving you what you want. Are you in a job that's just not doing it for you? You know? They make you work 1,000,000 hours, they don't pay you overtime, you know? Versions of that. Okay, so this is the gift, and let's look at the gift first. Temperance is always awesome. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at these first. So we have Temperance, which is a Sagittarius energy, okay, as the crowning. And I like this because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is all about luck and expansion. But the process of that is going to happen through really blending two ideas together. You know, so it's about taking what you need, what somebody else needs, and creating this third thing, which is always what it is in relationships anyway. When we're in a relationship with somebody, it's what you need, what they need, and what the relationship needs. Same thing in any sort of work situation. You know, you have your needs. It's not like it's all about your boss. You have certain needs, and so does your boss. And then, but you know, you guys are in this for this shared goal, right? And that would be the third thing. So the Temperance is about working that out and figuring that out. So I really do like that. Now you're coming into this space though with the Five of Cups energy reverse. I like it in the bed better in the reverse, definitely. So this is a Mars and Scorpio energy, and this is about realizing that something needs to change in your life, that something has disappointed you, has failed you, something is not what it seems to be at the time. There's definitely this hurt here that you're dealing with, right? With 3 of the cups out of the 5 are spilt, but then 2 are still standing. And in the reverse, it's about you saying, you know what? I have value left in me, and you know, I have value in me that I think I need to remind my partner about. I have value left in me that I think I need to not only remind myself about, but remind my boss about. It's just getting in touch with that element of self-love that's left, regardless of the situation that you find yourself in. Okay? But now, right now, so this was the energy that you were feeling coming into this. But at the same time, right now you're feeling this Ace of Cups in the reverse. So the Ace of Cups in the reverse is about there not being a new beginning in your heart space in the way that you want. So this can have to do with there just not being very good, not being a good sharing of feelings, there not being the motivation, the want, the desire in the heart space to really continue on a path into this next cycle that we're all entering into right now, doing what you've been doing. And what I like about this is there's recognition here. There's recognition that something hasn't been working out for you, that there does need to be change. And you know what? I got this, I think one, maybe even 2 other signs where it's like, not having a new beginning in the cycle that you're in right now is a gift, because you're not supposed to be in this space. You follow? So, but then we have the Nine of Pentacles energy. And guys, let me tell you something, okay? Before anybody says anything. I reshuffle before I put the camera on all the decks no less than 6 times. That is that's like my ground zero. Sometimes I'm called to do it more. And then I do additional shuffles on with the camera on. So sometimes when the cards want to find themselves again to come out in the same sort of synchronicity as another sign, I don't want you guys to think I'm doing anything shady. I can't control that, right? As I am feeling that there was some sort of, one of the signs ended up getting something rather similar to this. But anyway, I digress. This is a Nine of Pentacles energy, and the Nine of Pentacles energy in the reverse this is Venus in Virgo. Venus rules the heart space. It also has to do with money, and Virgo is about communication, right? So this is about trying to figure out inside yourself what you even really, really want. And I feel like not being able to clarify that in your mind is the struggle right now. It's a challenge, right? Because we have the Temperance energy, which is all about, all right, well, what do you need, Gemini? And you're like, I'm really not even sure. And that's the hard part, is that you have to come to terms with what it is that you need to identify what it is that you really want in order to manifest it. So, to stay in like a space of analysis paralysis is not a good thing. So it's fine that you're recognizing that you can't continue in the cycle the way that you've been continuing, but you need to gain clarity on what it is that you want to move into. And that's the hard part, but are you moving away from whatever isn't working for you? This is the Eight of Cups. I'm trying to think of who else got this. So this is Saturn and Pisces. I really like it. Saturn's ruled by, listen to me, I'm saying Saturn rules Capricorn. But Saturn's all about, doing the hard work. It's a great taskmaster. And in Pisces, it's about Neptune. So this is Saturn and Neptune having a conversation like, all right, we're going to work forward from here. And we're going to leave this negativity behind, because it was never going to feed our heart in the way that it needs feeding. So we need to really walk towards our dreams, walk towards the things that we ultimately want for ourselves in a really aggressive way without having any sort of regret. Because with the Temperance energy here, I am getting very strongly that you guys recognize that things need to be different. Temperance may be lacking here, and you just simply recognizing that is going to be pulling you away from a situation that's really not serving you. Because it can't be all about you or all about them. So this is making sense to me, going back to the selling out. Like, you might be in a situation where you feel like you're the one who's needing to sacrifice more of something for the sake of your partner, or for the sake of this position, for the sake of something. My cat is trying to get out. Let me just, Michael? Hear my cat cry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this pretty much sums it up. So so for those of you who resonate with this, I have to tell you what I'm getting. I am getting what I just said, that you're in a situation where you're not being treated fairly. Someone else is expecting for their needs, wants, and desires to be honored over yours. Whether they realize it or not, this is what's happening. Okay? And Michael? Can you let Lexi out, please? She's crying and I'm filming right now. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, so I feel like this was very... This has gotten to a point for you where you're like, you know what, this is not fair. This could be your boss expecting more from you than you're being compensated for, expecting more from you, and just not being very respectful to you. They're not being this give and take in whatever situation it is. And you recognizing that in order for you to reach your wish fulfillment, you're going to have to walk away. And then you're hoping that things become clear to you at that point. because it's very hard for you to see things right now because you're feeling blocked. And we have the Death card, which is all about endings and beginnings, right? This is Scorpio card. It's Pluto, but Pluto transformation. So this transformation is certainly happening here within this connection, within this situation. And then we have the shadow side, reverse, which I always like this better in the reverse. Absolutely. This is about recognizing those imbalances and coming front and center with them and really doing the work on them, really doing the work. You know, where are you feeling like really anxious in your life? Where are you feeling really depressed? Where are you maybe self-medicating? Where are you drinking too much? Are you spending too much money? You know, are you giving too much of yourself to a situation? I mean, it really could even be that where, you know, in every relationship, in every situation, the scales are not always 50-50, right? I mean, that's illogical, right? People go through things in their life and they need us there more than others and vice versa, right? So sometimes it's, you know, 40-60, 30-70, you know what I mean? Like that. But this is you realizing like, you know what? Things have been a little too unbalanced for a little too long in areas that are a little too big. And I'm not comfortable with it anymore. Right? And you realizing this and becoming very vocal and saying it's because of these things. It's because of how imbalanced I feel in this situation. I don't feel like I will ever feel that sense of security to have that metaphorical home space with you, right? That space of love, that joy, that happiness. This is Jupiter in Libra. This is a very benefic energy in the love space, right? In the money space. Because again, Libra's not only about fairness, right? We have fairness going on here, which is also like the vibe of temperance, but Libra's ruled by Venus, which is all about love and money. So, you know, whatever's going for one can go for the other as far as career or relationship goes. But this is like, I'm not feeling safe. I'm not feeling that strong foundation in this because there are too many imbalances, just too many imbalances. And then we have here the King of Wands as the outcome and in reverse. And this is Cancer and Leo energy. And Cancer is all about home, that metaphorical home space. Cancer is also represented by the Chariot energy. And the Chariot energy is all about moving forward. Okay, and it's also Leo, right? Leo's all about, you know, feeling that fire in your belly to move something forward, and you just like, no, I don't have the passion in me to move forward in this in the way that it is right now because it's just not fair, and I feel like staying in it, I am selling myself out, and I don't really deserve that. But this is the thing, that in doing this, you're evolving out of something that is really not healthy for you. Now, guys, this could simply be a situation that's going on in your relationship. You follow? Doesn't mean you're getting divorced, you guys breaking up, anything like that. This could just be this very heavy conversation that you're having because of something that you've been feeling over time, right? Because it's something that you've been feeling over time. And you just don't want to, you don't want to tolerate it anymore. You don't want to feel that level of imbalance anymore. Because you know what's hard with Geminis? It's like, and I've always said this, Gemini, you guys are the most forgiving archetype. You know, and when you're forgiving in that way, like literally forgiving. Cancer's forgiving, but Cancer will not let you forget. Gemini's really not like that. Gemini's just kind of like, all right, you know, go with the flow. You know, depends what else you have in your chart, of course. But Geminis are also the kind where it's like build up, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, wait, what the hell's been going on here? Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that is definitely something, yeah. I mean, you're just feeling like there was not going to be growth. Look at this. That there wasn't going to be growth, right? The Empress energy. And you didn't see yourself stepping into this next cycle. With them, we have the Tower moment. I'm like, listen, if we're going to do this, everything's got to be different. This can also represent you just like all of a sudden being like a totally new version of yourself, Gemini. The way you've been thinking up to now, just, you know, letting it drop down to the ground and changing it all. Yeah, because this can be absolutely an outdated sense of ideas and ideals, you know. And, you know, look at the Tower energy, look at the people, right? It's very easy for us to say these people were blown out of the top. But we can also say that they escaped. Glass half empty, glass half full. Did they escape something that they knew was inevitably going to end up coming down and falling apart and making them feel very unhappy? You know, I mean, it's just something to think about and for you to relate and connect to your situation as it is. But whatever you're evolving out of was no good for you. Guys, been saying in all the videos, rejection is protection. It just is. It just is, regardless of how much it might hurt. Really. Rejection is absolutely protection. So you evolving out of stuff, out of something. And this is just going to end up bringing you to the space where you're going to be able to get into a situation that allows for the temperance and allows that sharing sensibility, that recognition, and that, because, you know, with temperance, you need to have empathy and compassion in order to produce temperance, because it's got to be mutual recognition. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of lip service, right? And as I always say with the Tower energy, if you're somebody with, you know, who's equal-minded to you, who really wants to rebuild something with you, anything can be rebuilt if you're with the right person. Anything. You know, everybody's story is going to be a little bit different. But it definitely can't keep looking like it's been looking up to this point. And you guys have been putting your foot down lately. You sure are. But you know what? Well, these kind of things in relationships and even situations at work, it's not like you go in, you draw a line in the sand, and then that's it. A lot of these things are like an onion. Over time, you have to do it in steps and layers, you know? Okay, let's get your challenge for the week. 4 cups. Okay. Now, the gift doesn't have to have anything to do with the challenge. It really doesn't. So you're going to apply it as you see fit. So we have the 4 of Cups energy. This is the Moon and Cancer energy. So this is, you know, in the Moon, I always say with the Moon, I have a very Jungian approach to that energy, which is all about really looking deep inside and seeing things that you hadn't seen before in yourself, you know? And when we're talking about Cancer, we're talking about, you know, the home space and connection to like our children, and just connection to our inner child, and this is also about movement forward within that space. So you recognizing what it is that you really need, right? But and the challenge here, though, this is also your checklist card. So this is you identifying in either a relationship or a job things that have not worked for you up to this point. But the challenge here might be in figuring out, well, what will work for you? And are you being really honest with yourself about your role in everything? And if you are, okay, awesome, because all of that's a lesson to be learned. But it's about here, what do you need to move forward? What does it even mean to like function in your heart space and do something that you really want? So some of you can be in a place where it's like you're okay, happy in your job, but you know at the end of the day to stay in it is really not going to like serve you in the long haul, but you really can't identify something that truly resonates with your soul in a way that you're looking for. And the same thing can happen with a relationship, where you're just feeling like left of center in the relationship, and you're very much trying to identify, you know, where is the missing piece? And what is it? Is it something missing in you? Or is it something truly maybe missing in your partner? Is it your mindset and the way you're perceiving things? It's trying to get to the bottom of where does your restlessness, because this is a very restless energy, where does your restlessness live and why? And what's the real reason behind it? Coming into this, we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. So this is an Earth of the suit of air. So this is like in the most basic form. Some of you, first of all, may not be communicating in a very healthy way with somebody, if at all. For others of you, it can be you feel like somebody was holding back information from you, or you being kind of closed off here. But whatever it is, it's getting in the way of there being this next cycle handled in a way of truth. So even if you're with your partner, it could be like either you or your partner just not being really forthcoming with what's on your mind. So you can be holding things back. This can be you being secretly unhappy at work. You know, you're just keeping it inside of yourself, and you're not really feeling, you know, really impassioned about moving into this next cycle at work. Okay, and then we have the 3 of Swords energy in the reverse. So I like this energy better in the reverse. For some of you, this can just be you being very over over somebody else's drama that's around you, okay, in your life in general. You're over the drama at work. You're over the drama in the relationship. For some of you, this can be the realization that there was perhaps a third-party situation or anything that could bring upon any sense of betrayal. Some of you just may be feeling in your gut that something is amiss, something is off. But it's a painful energy, but it's coming to light. This is much more positive in the reverse because the swords are falling out and there's conversation happening. And it's conversation towards healing. So it's much more benefic than in the upright. It's, there's healing happening here. So there's this realization, you're not really talking about it, but then conversation is happening with something having to do with this disappointment, with this restlessness. But this is not easy. This is a painful energy. We have the Knight of Pentacles, and this is in your challenge, right? So the Knight of Pentacles is about, it's a Leo and Virgo energy, but it's about you getting in touch with how you just don't feel like your heart is happy and you don't feel connected. Figuring out why you don't feel connected. This mental, physical, emotional connection. What's missing? Really trying to figure it out. And having a really hard time. Because you know the value in that. And then the outcome is the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is the Saturn and Taurus energy. And in the reverse, this is Saturn not having a good conversation with Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus, right? And the result of that is this lack of being able to build, in the 3D, mental, physical, and emotional connection in a way that's really going to speak to your heart space. And this is just not the easiest thing to deal with. But you recognizing that, the truth is coming out for healing, but, it's going to be very hard to accept the situation of everything that's gone on. And you're just really trying to figure it all out for yourself. Yeah, let's pull a few more cards here. Yeah. So you're feeling like somebody is definitely high in their ego. We have the Nine of Cups reversed. This is a lack of wish fulfillment. There's ego involved here. There's not going to be a new beginning and connection. There is the idea of leaving to go to a more peaceful space, to get away from the toxicity, and you being very, very honest with yourself. I love the Moon reverse. You're being very, very honest about what you need, and you're not making excuses anymore. You're paying attention to the red flags. You're not getting seduced by any of that, and you really are not allowing yourself to be sold out. You're absolutely not allowing it. Yeah, I like this. Right? Is it the easiest energy? No. Is it healthy? 100%. It seems like a lot of the readings are like that lately. Just in general, because of what's happening in the sky, guys, it's what's going on right now. It really is. Because we're all growing a lot in leaps and bounds. And we're all sort of positioning ourselves in this new space. It's like the pieces are the whole axis of everybody's going through it. Hopefully you're open enough to the energy where you actually recognize it, because that's very uncomfortable when you're not open to feel the shifts as we go along, because all of a sudden it can just come out of nowhere, and that's never comfortable. All right. Okay, so the love doesn't have to do anything with anything else, right? That could have been a double spread for career, right? Really. Or one could be career, one could be relationship, or one of those could have been relationship, another one family connection, a friend, whatever it is. Just have to apply these messages as you see fit. So let's pull cards and see what we have. Let's do one more. So we have embrace. Through each other you find the missing pieces. And then we have golden mirror. Self-absorbed narcissist, one-sided relationship, love bombing. Oh, Gemini, I feel like that's somebody you're dealing with. I do. I feel like you drew a line in the sand, okay? You drew a line in the sand. I feel like you are meant to be with this person. Absolutely, it's a karmic relationship. But there were conversations about who was being self-absorbed, who was being narcissistic-like. It doesn't mean they have NPD. Where were you feeling this idea of one-sided relationship? I mean, that just really speaks to the selling out, you know? Absolutely. Okay, let's see what we could pull for that. Let me pull these. Okay, yeah. And then we're gonna get these here. Okay, these I'm not reading in the reverse. Okay. All right, so we have, okay, embrace through each other. You find the missing pieces, golden mirror. As I said, self-absorbed narcissist, one-sided relationship, love bombing. Then we have four of Earth, which is 4 of Pentacles. So I do, Gemini, I do get that you are in a little bit of self-protection mode. You just are. That's the 4 of Pentacles, is you protecting yourself for a minute. All right. But here it says the past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith. Karmic relationship, fleeting triggers, turmoil, resentment, lessons, letting go, and loving you. So this is like the past is now behind you. Letting go and loving you. Past, past, past. 7 of fire. Okay, 7 of swords. This is a moon and Aquarius energy. This is about resolving to do things differently and just really being more in control of, you know, your role in the relationship and them taking a higher level of responsibility and accountability for what they do. That's what this is. It's about getting really honest and committing to do things differently because it's a Uranus energy. And then we have healing. Healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. Gemini, how nice is that? We have lightning, sudden change, shocking news, surprise, epiphany, transformation. Transformation. And then we have the moon card. I love this. This is beautiful. This is a high priestess energy. This is a Cancer energy. This is about being at home in this love space. This is about home and family and love. So it's really beautiful. So there's going to be, somebody's going to be owning their stuff. There is going to be recognition. I mean, I hope you guys get that. Obviously you can't control what somebody else comes forward with, but if this is, hopefully if this is done, and I don't feel like this person's bad at all, like bad. That's such a silly word, bad, right? But I feel like they're a good person. I just feel like maybe they're either really wrapped up in their own stuff, their own life, their own narrative. You know, maybe they have a ridiculous amount of Leo in their chart. You know, just somebody who is not, they keep forgetting to remember you in the way that you are supposed to be remembered. And that could go for a boss or a relationship or anybody. So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.